my darlings, it's Jo Martin here. I'm the founder of One of Many. Hello. I'm here doing a Facebook Live for you today, talking about a really important piece when it comes to the empowerment of women, and that is the empowerment of women around money. I truly do believe that our finances is one of those areas that most holds us stuck. Hello, Sarah. Hello, anyone live joining us out there. Welcome, welcome. So today we're having a look at a model because one of the things that I think holds us stuck around finance is not understanding it. Most of us just don't have the education around it. We know we need to do something to go to the next level, but we don't know exactly what that thing should be, right? So what I thought I would do today is share with you our stages of wealth model. And this model will help you to understand why you're at the situation that you are, what's got you there, and what lesson you need to bed in to go to the next level. Because the thing that got you where you are, if you keep doing that, it's going to keep you there. I'm going to introduce you to 4 levels of wealth and how to transition from one to the other. And this is all because right now we have, not too far on the horizon, on the 7th and the 8th of June in London, we are running our Wealth Insights events. They are 4-hour jam-packed, powerful seminars digging deep into the conversation around money and how we can go to the next level. I'd love you to come along. This is just a little sampler, a taster from that. You can see I've organized my my flip chart for you here so that I can do some drawing. So the stages of wealth model, what do you think? What do you bet the guess is that? Oh, no, I picked one that works. Hooray! The stages of wealth model really helps us to understand where we're at and what do we need to focus on to get to the next level. Because it could be that you're out there, earning good money, and you think what you need to do to go to the next level is to start saving. Or maybe you've been saving and you think what you need to do to go to the next level is change job. Or, we're not quite sure and we therefore get tangled up. So what I want to do is simplify this so that you can understand it and see where you are, what level of the pyramid you're on, and therefore what should be, can you see all of that? Yes, well done, me. What should be your area of focus to start with? So the first thing is to understand what stability looks like. So the first stage of the pyramid here is what we call, I beg your pardon, stability. Now, stability is that point in our wealth where what we have coming in at the front end every month or every year is the same as what's going out the back end. So where our income equals our expenses. We call that level of wealth stability. Now, it doesn't matter if you have £2,500 coming in the front end and £2,500 going out the back end every month. Or if you have $2.5 million coming in the front end and $2.5 million going out the back end every month. You are at the same level of wealth according to this model, which helps you to understand what to do about it. Because at this level, your income equals your expenses, right? Income equals expenses. There's nothing left over. You're not getting any more, you're not from a financial perspective, getting any further along. So stability is the first rung of the ladder. Now, some of you might be looking and going, Jesus, I'm not even there yet. You're either going backwards or it's up and down. Some months you're ahead, some months you're behind. Feels like at the end of every year, you're another, £2,000 in debt than you were the last year or what have you. If you're at that level, you are at what we would call instability. And that's where it's entirely unpredictable and you don't really know what's going on, right? So that's at that instability level we need to solve a particular problem. I'm going to come back and tell you how to transition between levels in just a little while here. So once we get to stability and we've got the same coming in as going out, we've learned the lessons that keep us at stability. The next level is what we call security. Now, the security level is where your amount coming in at the front end is a little bit more or a lot more than what's going out at the back end, which means you've probably got some money set aside or you're working towards having money set aside in what I would call your rainy day fund. Now, rainy day fund is an amount of money that you've got put away to take care of you if the shit hits the proverbial fan. Sorry, yes, I'm Australian. I say things like shit on Facebook. So yeah, if things go pear-shaped, as the Brits would say, you've got some money put aside. How much you want to have in a rainy day fund to be able to get yourself to security pretty much depends on what you're comfortable with, right? In the early days for me and my husband Greg, security for us looked like 3 months worth of living expenses, because I knew with what we did when we launched our first business, that within 3 months I could run an event and earn enough money to pay for our next 3 months living expenses. And so we had that kind of catch-up cycle if we needed to. Plus it means basic insurances, things like that, so that if you couldn't work, then you would have some money coming in. So that is probably what security looks like for you. For us these days, security looks a bit different. You know, we've got our business. We also want to make sure that we can take care of our employees if the shit hit the proverbial fan. So security looks a little different in terms of how big that rainy day fund is. But the question is, what is it for you? How much would have you feel safe, sound, and secure in terms of your finances, right? And it'd be interesting to hear what would a good rainy day fund look like for you. Maybe in the comment section you want to share what would make you feel secure from a rainy day fund perspective. Once you've achieved security, the next level is what we would call financial independence. Now, this is a level that a lot of people call financial freedom, but I try to steer clear of that word freedom. I know I put it in the post for the Facebook Live. I wanted to capture your attention. But I steer clear of the word freedom at this level, and I'll tell you why. Because I think freedom is an emotional state, and it's an emotional state that we want to have around money no matter what level we're at. We can be free around money and free from guilt or fear or shame or any of that stuff that gets us tangled up around money. We can have that level of freedom at any stage of wealth. So I prefer to keep that in my emotional toolbox descriptions. And instead, I like to talk about independence. And this is a better description, I think. So for me, this level of wealth is where your income is independent of the amount of hours you work. So at both of these levels, at stability and security, your income, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't put here on security. Your income is a little greater than your expenses here, but still you are surviving because of your earned income at these levels. At the next level up, at independence, this is where your asset income, so the income that you generate from your assets, and I know I just said assets, stick with me if you just kind of glazed over and got all, oh, don't talk to me about finances. But hang on, hang in there. Your asset-based income is greater than your expenses. In other words, you have assets, so things like property perhaps, or stocks and shares, or systemized businesses that don't require your time. So any business that you could go away from and it continues to deliver you profit would be an asset here. But assets that deliver an income which pays for all your living expenses. So in other words, if your living expenses are, say, $4,000 a month, then you are generating from your property portfolio, your share portfolio, your business portfolio, you are generating that income every month. So basically you are independent of your worked hours. I don't like to talk about passive income because I think it's a myth, and for many, many years I didn't achieve it because I thought I was looking for this kind of unicorn-like situation where I wouldn't have to do any work. But actually, it's about breaking the link between your time and your money. That's what happens here. Every passive portfolio still needs someone to look at it, right? You still need to manage it, make choices, and so on. But asset income is greater than expenses. In other words, you don't have to work the hours anymore in order to actually earn the income. And then at the top level of the stages of wealth pyramid is what we would call affluence. And for me, affluence is where you're generating multi-asset class income. So here, what we generally tend to see is someone picks off an asset class to get to independence. You might see someone who starts investing heavily in stocks and shares to get there, or you might see someone who starts, buying up property, and that's their first vehicle. So at independence, you can kind of achieve it in one asset class. Affluence for me is when you start then to branch out into multiple asset classes. You might have a property portfolio, you might have some stocks and shares, you might do some, you might be watching foreign currencies, you might have overseas investments, and it's like instead of your focus now being internally on your one little pot of investments, you kind of more, it's more a state of mind. It's more where your attention tends to be. And when I think about people at this level, I'm thinking about multi-millionaires, billionaires, that kind of people who are earning significant amounts of income from assets in many different places. And it looks different for every person depending on their wealth profile, but it's more about multiplying from different places. So let's talk a little bit now about how do you move from one to the other. And this is the key piece, because if you think that you can earn your way up to affluence by working harder, you have another thing coming, baby. It ain't gonna happen, right? In order to get to affluence, we need to embed, should you wish to, you might be happy to stop at independence, you might be happy to stop at security, I don't know, right? It's your choice. But there are lessons that we need to learn at every step of the way. And the lesson that gets you from one level to the next level will hold you stuck at that level if you don't learn the new lesson to move you to the one beyond. So let's talk about first getting onto the pyramid. How do we shift from instability to stability? Well, that lesson there, my darlings, is called accountability. Accountability. Now, by accountability, what do we mean? We mean many things, actually. First of all, getting accountable means measuring things, actually counting things. So it means budgeting. It means measuring how much money you're spending and living within your, spending within your income limits at a very simple level. Let's measure and reduce your spending if you can. It also means being accountable to yourself. Because for a lot of people, oh my God. So I spent a good, 10 years at the beginning of my career working a lot with small business owners. And so many small business owners that I would talk to and help and so on. The best thing they could have done for their finances is actually go get a job. Do you know? Sometimes our creativity or our desire to contribute means that we miss this lesson here. Either you've got to get accountable for getting clients if you're in a small business, but you've got to get accountable for getting an income somehow if you want to achieve stability. What does that look like for you? You get to choose, but you've got to get accountable for getting that income, right? So that's accountability. That's that piece there. And then also sometimes it helps at this level to get accountable to somebody, like a buddy, a bookkeeper, a wealth coach, a coach, anybody who's going to keep you aligned with the promises that you make to yourself. So that's accountability. Once you've got accountable, then you're going to start measuring, and we see this all the time. So one of the ladies that came along to Wealth Insights and then went on to do Be Wealth with us, Catherine Meadow was her name, she realized that she needed to get her family to stability. They were already in stability, so the first thing was accountability. She started measuring. Just from the process of measuring alone, she was able to find an additional £1,000 a month in order to get to that next level. And I know I can see Sarah Bryson's watching there, and I know Sarah's got some great lessons as well. Even though she was at a higher level in terms of the results she was getting, bedding in the lessons of the stages below is actually really crucial if you want to make sure you never fall back down the pyramid. And we'll talk about that in a second. So accountability is that first lesson. Now then, it's not just about doing more of that if you want to get up to security, right? If you want to get up to security, we need to shift into a new lesson, and that new lesson is finding your flow. Flow. What does that mean? A great mentor of mine who triggered my thinking on this whole thing is Roger Hamilton, and he talks about the fact that if you had an employee, you're a business owner and you had an employee and they did just enough to get by, just enough to earn the wage that you were paying them, how excited would you be about giving that person a pay rise? Not very, right? If they're doing just enough to eke it out to earn what they thought they should be earning, you're not too excited about giving them a pay rise. If, however, you've got someone who turns up to work and they're so passionate and they're doing everything that's on their job description plus a little bit more, or doing everything that's on their job description to a level that was beyond your expectations, how passionate are you and excited are you to give that person a pay rise? Hugely, right? And universally, it works the same way. If you want to get from stability where what's coming in equals what's going out, you do that by getting a job or doing the hard work, whatever the hard work looks like in your business, doesn't matter. You just do it. You just get yourself there, right? You work to get there. That's where hard work, grit, determination comes into play, to get yourself to stability. But if you want to go beyond stability, you've got to unleash some energy. And unleashing energy means finding your passion. It means tapping into your personality, your skill sets, your abilities, those things that are your gifts, your natural talents, and identifying what those are and doing more of those. When you do that, you will find that naturally your income starts to increase. You may have heard the old adage, do what you love and the money will follow. Well, the problem is if you're stony broken instability and you start doing what you love, the money doesn't always follow. Not if you haven't learned accountability. But if you've learned accountability and you've got yourself to stability, then you do what you love. With the habits of accountability underneath you, you'll find you have loads more energy for finding the way to increase your income there. And that's generally what happens when we start working with women at that level. They tap more and more into their talents. They let go of those things that they're not talented at. Their income goes up either in their job, they get promotions, they get raises and so on. Or from a business perspective, they start doing more and more of those things that they're great at, less and less of those things they're not so great at. Now, here's the thing. If you find something you love and you're doing lots of it and the money is following, that's all fantastic. But if you keep doing that, you'll never get to financial independence. It's not possible. The game changes again at this level. It is impossible to earn your income way to independence. What you have to do is start using the excess income once rainy day fund's taken care of to buy assets, right? To buy assets. Now, buying assets might look like buying property. It might look like buying stocks and shares. It might look like investing in your business to get it systemized so you can step away, etc. But whatever it looks like having assets. And those assets then start paying for your expenses. So to get to independence, the lesson you've got to learn is investment. You've got to learn what it really means to invest, right? Either learning how to invest in property, how to invest in shares, how to invest in a business in the right way. You know, and usually this starts with investing in yourself, in your education, because most of us got no damn idea about it. Why? Because we don't get taught this stuff at school. I don't know about you. I love my parents. They never taught me a thing about money. I love my school. Never taught me a thing about money. Basic maths. But how to measure and budget, how to find a way to earn great income, how to invest that money wisely so you don't have to work for the rest of your life, nothing, nada, nix. Had to pay for it all myself. Very glad I did. It got me there. However, I'm really clear that we should not feel any shame about the fact that we don't know this stuff because nobody teaches it. What we do need to do is take responsibility for getting ourselves educated. And then this final transition going from independence to affluence is about learning the lesson of balance. And there's many aspects to balance, the ability to read balance sheets, to be able to read complex financial documents at a glance, that kind of stuff. But it's also personal balance, balancing your attention and energy between those things that are important to you, not getting so tied up in the business and the finance that you've missed your family, that kind of stuff. You've got to keep learning those lessons there. So to move from one to the next, you have to bed in those lessons. And here's a little lesson for you. My husband and I have had it in the past where we had got to financial independence, but we hadn't bedded in the lessons in below, predominantly this one here of accountability. And so therefore, when things got a little wobbly for us, we got back down to instability for a while. So you will drop, if things get wobbly, as far as kind of your lowest bedded in lesson. So it's never too late to bed in the lessons behind you, even if you find yourself towards independence or towards security or towards stability yet, bed the lessons in, right? So if you have, my question for you is, what level of this are you at? I'd love to hear in the comment section. And by the way, You will feel embarrassed to share. Why? How do I know that? Because at our events, I will ask, I'll ask this question, well, who's at instability? And you can see the hands go up and everyone feels, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to be at instability. And then I ask for stability and security and independence even. Who's at independence? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to be at independence. The point is, we all have shame around money because we don't talk about it. It's a taboo subject. I'm here to talk about it and bring it out of the shadows. But what level are you at? And therefore, what lesson do you see you need to learn? Once you've identified that, I would love to help you get that lesson. And the place to start would be to come and join me at Wealth Insights. We are running these, they're little half-day introductory seminars. Now, I say introductory makes it sound like you're not going to go away with anything, but you do. You walk away with a very clear plan of what the next step up for you is and what are the unconscious blocks that are stopping you from being able to make that. So we, in a 4-hour kind of tour de force seminar, which we're holding in London, I think it's in Kensington somewhere, you can either choose Friday the 7th in the afternoon or Saturday the 8th of June. Come along, join us. We'd love to see you. I think at the moment we have early bird specials until the 22nd of May. It's only £27. Why? It's dead cheap, right? Why? Because I'm so committed to getting this information out. I absolutely love it when I see a woman get financial empowerment. When you can get power back around money and turn it from an obstacle into a powerful ally for you to shape the world the way you want it. Oh my God, women become unstoppable. I've seen women pledge, $1 million. Two sisters out in Australia that I was working with in the Hunger Project once, they pledged $1 million to the Hunger Project as a result of getting empowered around their money and really taking their power back. It was awesome to see. I've seen women who've had bequests, who've inherited money, were terrified of it, but when they found their power around it, made really bold investment choices for themselves and brave contribution choices to those causes that they care about. When we get empowered around our money, the world changes. We need to get empowered around our money, ladies. So I'm inviting you to come and join me on the 7th or the 8th of June, live in London. I look forward to seeing you there, and let's dig into this and many, many other things and get you empowered around money. I'll put the link to Wealth Insights in the comments. See you soon and share below. Love to hear what you think.